Hey, Scrapbook friends, it's Nicole, and welcome to the June 2025 edition of the Savvy Scrapbookers. That's where every month my two good friends, Debbie Martin, Donna Guest, and I take a Creative Memories paper pack and either the stickers or the embellishments, and we divide it up among the three of us, and then each of us creates one double page layout with the pieces that we chose. So this month we chose to use Legacy of Love, which is kind of our new heritage collection, and it's full of just beautiful kind of browns and creams. And the papers that I chose when we divided up, we didn't plan to have people take the same, two of the same, but I did end up with both of this architectural letter paper. This is probably my favorite paper in this collection, so I was thrilled to get both of them. I also got one of this kind of little brown diamond with the old-fashioned letters on the back, and one of this kind of old-fashioned newspaper with the black little chevrons on the back. So those are the four papers you're going to need for my layout. And then you're going to need your 12-inch trimmer and some adhesive. So we're going to be using the two architectural letter pieces as our base. So you can go ahead and set those aside, and we're just going to do our cuts on the black with the chevrons, and I'm going to cut on the brown diamond side. The first one we're going to cut is the brown diamond paper, and they're pretty easy cuts this time. We're going to cut two strips that are 4.5 by 12, and then we're going to cut the last 3-inch strip into 4 squares, and 2 of them we're going to cut on the diagonal. If you are going to use this with other paper, these are going to be horizontal stripes across the bottom. So if you have like a pattern or something, you want the pattern to be, this to be the right side up. So when you cut, you would turn it sideways. But this paper is non-directional on both sides, so we're just going to go with that. So we're going to cut at 4.5. And then this piece is 3 inches, and we'll cut it into 4 3 by 3 inch squares. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 2 of these we're going to set aside, and 2 of them we're going to cut. So you can use the 45-degree angle line on your trimmer and line it up with the cutting line on your on the trimmer. So if on mine, my cut must be a smidge off because I don't feel like it's completely lining up. So I'm going to line up a little bit better. And you can always use your little sightlines guides, which live up in the housing here, just to make sure that you're getting your cuts right where you want them, because you really want to have a nice clean corner on these. All right, so cut that one and cut this one. And these little sight lines just kind of, either they all stick onto the cartridge housing, or they just kind of do their own thing, and then they just go back up into the top housing when you're done, or the bottom housing when you're done. All right, so those are my first cuts here for paper 1, 4.5, 4.5, the triangles and the squares. And then we're also going to cut some triangles out of the other paper, this brown chevron paper. It doesn't really matter. This one is a little bit directional, but it's so dark that I don't think it really matters. We're going to have some of our photo mats are going to be horizontal, some are going to be vertical, so it doesn't really matter what direction you cut them in. And the back also. I didn't use the back. I didn't like the way it looked against the letters. But the first one we're going to cut is at 3.5. And then we're going to turn this and cut it again at 3.5, and another at 3.5. So this leaves us with a 3.5 by 5 piece. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with these 2 squares. We're going to cut them on the diagonal. And that one I actually messed up a little bit. I should have used my sightline guides. I got this one that's just a hair off of a perfect point, but that's okay. Don't tell anyone, and I won't tell anyone. All right, before we cut this into mats, we want to cut 2 1/4-inch strips. So on the Creative Memories trimmer, the cut line is the line that's closest to the logo here. And then the farther edge of the mat on the short side is the 1/4-inch spot. So cut a 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch. And so that should leave this, because our first piece was 3.5 and this is 2/4, this should be now 8 inches. You can always measure it by looking right here. So that's 8 inches. So now we're going to cut this at 4. So you get 2 4x12-inch pieces. And then you don't have to stack these. I always just stack them for ease. We're going to turn and cut these into 4 4x6 mats. Okay? And that's all the cutting that this layout needs. So we've got our 2 1/4-inch strips, our 4 mats, our 3.5 by 5, and then our 2 sets of triangles. Okay, so that's all the cutting. So now we'll take our background papers, and this is directional. Sometimes when I do an all over pattern, I like to turn it so that you don't get like same, but this one, it's not going to matter. And you want to keep it vertically because these papers are, you know, they're up and down. So we're going to start with the 4.5 by 12-inch strips. And we're going to put these on the bottom. And of course, if you're using other paper or you want to play with it and just kind of see how it goes together, you may want to, you know, put this all together and, you know, decide which of the sides you like better, whatever. But I've already done that part for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick these all down as we go. So I'm going to put these along the bottom. I did play with it with this side. I do like this light brown side, but I just felt like it kind of got lost. It got over. I like the weight, the visual weight. I've talked to you guys about that before. The visual weight of the darker brown with the squares at the bottom of my page. All right, then we're going to take our 2 1/4-inch pieces and we're going to put just a little thin border here along the top of this 4.5-inch piece. So if you have a silicone mat or something, I spend a lot of time over at my studio scrubbing adhesive, especially the repositional adhesive off of my table. So I try to always use something underneath it to protect them. But with these, they're at the 1/4 inch. I'm just going to kind of put them together and try to be a little bit frugal with my tape. The tape is about 3/8 of an inch, so it's a little bit wider than, it's not wide enough to be a 1/2 inch, but a little too wide to be just on a 1/4 inch. I hate to waste any of it. So we're going to take these, and I'm actually feeling like I didn't cut very exactly. One of these is looking a little wider than the other one, but that won't matter. One of the nice things about Creative Memories albums is that when you put them in the album, there is going to be that space in between where the strap hinge is, and nobody's going to tell that this is just a hair bigger. And I don't know how I did that. But as we like to say here in Huntsville, Alabama, it is scrapbooking, not rocket science. All right, so then this is the part that I thought was really fun. I actually was inspired by an idea that I saw on Pinterest. We're going to use these squares, both of them. I mean triangles. They used to be squares. And we're going to put them in the corners, and it just kind of framed the upper part of this layout. And so because of the way we cut these, some of them, the chevrons go up and down, and some of them, they go side to side. And when I first was practicing with this, I was a little bit worried about how that was going to look, but we're about to cover them with these triangles. So I liked this side of the triangle, and I liked to position it so that there was just a little hair, like a 1/16 of an inch or so, on either piece. But you could, if you wanted to, if you really like this pattern, you could use this same pattern if you wanted to kind of tie it together. But I liked the lighter one. And I did find that it was easier if I put the triangles, the little triangles on top of the bigger triangles first. I'm gonna put a little bit of repositionable along the points so that they'll stick down well. But you guys know me, I like my full strength adhesive for most of my scrapbooking. So I'm just gonna put these on just so there's a little hint of that square behind, and then the same with to do the points. That's probably not completely necessary. I mean, you could just use regular adhesive, or you can use Repo. I know a lot of people have gone 100% to Repo for everything. So as long as you get them stuck down, and once you get this in an album, in a pocket page, or a behind a page protector, it's going to be fine. All right, so just kind of try to keep the spacing the same as best you can. And just line them up in the corners. There should be about a ½ inch space right there on the side. But I just like the way this kind of frames that top section of the layout. I've done a lot where like we framed the whole side, but this almost gives you the look of two layouts. And I liked how that was. There's my don't even know, that's not even quite a 1/16 of an inch, just a little hair. All right, then we'll put these down on the facing side. Just make sure when you do this that you're, you don't accidentally do them both on the same side. I've done stuff like that before, just copying exactly, and then I realized that I was supposed to mirror it. So this one, we're going to mirror it so that we have the opposite side. Now, when we were dividing up the stickers, I did choose a border sticker. We each took one of the border stickers, and if you wanted to, you could take this little chevron border sticker and put it along this edge right here. I would actually probably do it going that direction, moving forward. But when I was kind of playing around with mine earlier, I didn't think it needed the border sticker. And I think just the little black, or the little black chevron line works fine as a border. But that is an option if you'd like to do that, and the other girls are not using this particular sticker. Then we're going to take our mats, which are basically all the remaining pieces. And this is one where you could, if you wanted to, use the back side. If you like the look of this newsprinty paper, you could use the back side here. I would definitely not use it up here. I really liked the black chevron. So I did one of them vertically, and then I put this little 3.5 by 5 here, not quite centered, but so that it's not touching this little edge. And then these two pieces, I actually, this one I'm going to use the brown diamonds up here, but I'm actually going to use this other piece down here to use it kind of as a photo mat. But I'm going to do it like this. I like the black better than that newspapery side. So let me stick those down. Oh, before I stick them down, I want to talk about my photos. So I know that this collection is kind of supposed to be like our heritage collection, but I always like to show you different ways that you can use a Creative Memories collection than the one that Creative Memories kind of designed it for. Not everyone has heritage photos to scrapbook. So I thought, what could I use this paper for? I love these architectural letters. Well, a couple of summers ago, I went to Chicago. My sister lives there, and we went on the architectural boat tour of the Chicago River. So I have some fun pictures of me with my sister. That's my favorite. That one's actually a favorite too. Maybe I'll put that one here. Put this one down here. And you see, I haven't done my photos yet. And then just some of these, like of this one of my husband looking at the fireboat, I like a lot. I did print a couple of these at like a 3x4 size. But because these are digital photos, they came out at 4 by 3 point, whatever it is, 3.33. So they're not going to fit just right on my photo mat. So I have an option of either I can cut this part down a little. I mean, I'm still going to need to cut this down because this is a 4-inch mat, but I can cut this down enough. Like if I cut a 1/2 inch off of it, then it will just fit in here. Or I could cut a 1/4 inch off this mat, but I think I'm going to just cut a 1/2 inch off the top, even though it's going to cut the top of that tower off. And I need to go back actually in my photos. I just upgraded to the iPhone 16, which has like a feature where you can take the person out of the background. So I actually may reprint this one after I take her out, but I'm going to cut this to 3.5. Sorry, top of the tower. And this one, this will be a little bit harder. I guess I cut the bottom off, 3.5. Cut a little bit of my husband's neck. This one I need to cut the other way. Cut off that side. Had a little white edge on the side, which I didn't love. And this one's a little bit harder. I don't want to cut too far into his head. I also don't want to cut off his shirt either. All right, and then this one I'm going to cut down to a 4x4. I'm going to cut this sky off the top, and then I'll just cut a little bit of these people off right here. And that one's not going to be on a mat. It's just going to be right here next to it. All right, so now we'll stick all these guys down. All right, so this one, I didn't really like it centered, so I am going to just trim a smidge off of this to make it fit my digital size photo. You usually have the option when you order your prints, if you want a 4x6 or if you want the digital size. I always choose to get the digital size so that it doesn't crop off any of my photo. Otherwise, what I just had to do to crop it down, they automatically do it. Their computer does it. So just be aware of that with photo sizes. Although I did find out that the nice thing about the digital size is that it's exactly half of a 3x4 photo. When you shrink down the 5 point, whatever it is, 3.3. All right, this is a 3x4, but this was a 3.5x5. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just put it on my mat with about a 1/4 inch mat. If I'd had a bigger photo that I wanted to cut down, I could have done that too. Just cut my mat to fit. And this one you could go either way, but I think, again, I think you'll see why I don't like the this kind of creamy as much as the contrast of the brown diamond. So you could put a little photo on that. I wonder if I have one. I have this little one of my husband looking way up. That's kind of cute. So this is a 3-inch square. So if I cut this to 2.5, it cuts off a lot of the building, which kind of defeats the purpose. But as I was going through my photos, trying to decide what I was going to use for this layout, I realized I printed a whole bunch of pictures, or I took a whole bunch of pictures on this architecture boat tour, but this was in June of 22, and I don't remember anything. Like, our tour guide was great. He told us, real specific things about Art Deco and Art Nouveau and blah, blah, minimalist, brutalist. I don't even remember what he called all the things, but I was going to journal on this before I stuck it down, but I don't remember any of those things. So I guess I'm gonna have to go back to Chicago and do another boat tour. So I'm going to journal on here, but the stickers that I picked, now these are, this legacy of love. It is very much kind of the heritage, family, but a lot of these will work for a lot of different things. So I picked this Life Well Lived. Our life is a collection of happy moments. Like I said, I did these 2 chevrons, which I'm not going to use. Then I got these 2 medallions, flowers, and then these little black flowers and the 2 feathers. Oh, and these little banner things. And it's interesting to me because they did 4 banners, but my brain likes groups of 3. So on my sample, I used 4, but I think on this one, I might use 3 and just see how I feel about it. Because, you know, everything else is like groups of 3, but that one, for whatever reason, they did 4. And maybe it's because they didn't expect you to use them all together as banners. So let's start with, actually, one of the things I've learned from Debbie Martin that I like to do before I stick my stickers down is to cut them apart. And so once you cut them apart, you can just use them like this on the backing, but I found that if you peel off the negative space, you get a better visual image of what these stickers look like. They look a lot bigger with the backing on them than they look once you've peeled off that negative space. So if you struggle with like sticker clusters or anything like that, just peel this stuff off and go from there. So I've peeled all this stuff off, all my little extra sticker backing, and that's just giving me, and I've cut all these apart, except for these 2. And that's just giving me a way to kind of play with my sticker clusters. So I'm going to put this, our life is a collection of happy moments down there, life well lived up here. I'm going to do these 2 kind of sun things up here. And then there's a big flower, a medium flower, and a small flower. I think I want the big flower up at the top, the medium flower down here at the bottom, a small flower here, and the smallest flower up here. And then we'll do 1 feather. I think I'll do the bigger feather up here and the little feather right there. And then these 3 guys, I'm going to put right here. Sorry, 4 of them. I don't know if I'm going to do all 4. I'm going to do 3. We'll see. So I think what I want to do is put, what I did before is put this one and that one on foam squares. And I'm going to do that first because that way I can kind of arrange where I want the underneath flowers to go. So I do have the de-sticking powder, and I like to use that, but I don't know where it is. I thought it was in my little drawer right here next to me, and it's not. So we're going to use that one right there, and then this little guy right here. So I think I want, this is actually, the middle can come out of this sticker, but I'm going to use it all in one piece. I'm not going to pop out that little middle so you can see the cut. I'm just going to use a hole right about there. And then this one right here. And this one here. And then I want the flower and stuff. Oh, I want the feather to be down first. The feather, the flower, and that one right on there, kind of at an angle. I think I like it touching the photo better than up here in space. All right, so we're going to just have this right down here. And then this one thing that's fun about this sticker is it's got this little notebook edge. And all of these little guys come out. Now they stayed on when I peeled it off the backing. Can you see the holes? So just kind of stick it to your finger or something and get those little guys off. Come on, you. All right, so you get that fun look of having the little holes punched out. And again, if you have the anti-stick powder, this is a great place to use it. You don't need quite as many foam squares if you do it that way, but you guys know I'm not afraid of using lots of foam squares. I probably should be. My wallet probably wishes I were a little bit more frugal with my foam squares, but I just don't want my things to get squished. All right, so I'm going to put this right here. And then get these off of me. And I want this to be kind of off the edge of the mat so that all of the little holes show through. So we'll put the feather down first, kind of right here. And this little guy right here. So, you know, when you look at a collection like this, sometimes you think, oh, it's so plain and neutral. I can't use it with bright colors, but I think it works totally fine with my, you know, my husband in front of this red fireboat and stuff. I think it makes your photos really the focus. I'm just going to do 3, and I think I'm going to do these 3, those 3. I don't know. But I'm going to use my little ruler grid on here to try and keep these as straight as I can. You just want to make sure you line up the edge here with the top of your paper. Probably could put these upside down and make them look like little skyscrapers, but all right, so there's the 3 right there. If you wanted to put a title, I will probably put, you know, architecture boat tour right here, something like that, and then I'll journal about how that was like the thing that everyone told me to do when we went to Chicago, was to go on this architecture boat tour. So like I always try to do, I've also made this, created this layout using a different paper pack. I hope that you will want to purchase Legacy of Love, or that maybe you have some of the Archivers or Memoirs and Memories, which is a previous collection we had. They're all kind of the same. But if not, you can use this layout with any collection. And so I did it with Passport to Adventure. And I think it turned out very cute again. And in fact, you guys who follow me know that I'm working on my, you know, Theme Park Thursday. Season 2 or Series 2 is going to launch tomorrow. And I'm still sorting photos for that. But this would have been great for my episode 1 when we're traveling. I don't know if I can get away with making this the same as that, but maybe I might cheat a little bit and use this for travel, but I might use it for some other travel too. But you could use it with anything. You can see here where I had this one that was directional. I used that. And then on this one, the back of this blue paper was the stripe. And so I used the stripe for my little 1/4 inch in between. But I just basically did the same thing. I have a little cluster up here, a little cluster up here, and a little, this is just a single pile of suitcases. So there it is with Passport to Adventure. But here is our finished layout with Legacy of Love. And I think I'm gonna probably write Architecture Boat Tour and do some journaling on here before I am done. But for the parts that you're gonna need for the Savvy Scrapbookers program, this is what you got. So now once you've finished watching mine, I hope you will hop over to Donna's at The Lazy Scrapbooker, and then Debbie's at Debbie's Scrapbooking Buddies, and I will put the links directly to their videos down there in the description. And they will be using the rest of the paper and some of the rest of the stickers. So if you copy all of us exactly, you will just have used 1 pack of paper and part of 1 pack of stickers. And you know, we try to have very little waste. I didn't have any wasted paper with this one, so go me. So thanks so much for watching, and for your comments, and for supporting us here in the Savvy Scrapbookers. We will be back as the Savvy Scrapbookers on the 2nd Wednesday of July, but I hope that you will tune in tomorrow for episode 0 of Series 2 of my Theme Park Thursday. So thanks a lot, and happy scrapbooking.